In this video, we are going to learn how to defang an IP address or URL. Hello, I'm Jagan from growwithdata. I'm posting this video to share my knowledge in Python language with you. If this assists you in your interview preparation anyways, I'll be happy. I've created a playlist Python interview questions 51 to 100 and I'll be tagging this video to that playlist. Now let's see a sample input data and we can talk about the question in detail. So we are given a string of value which is IP address or a URL, and they ask us to return a defanged version of that value. So first thing is, what is a defang and why it's used? So defanging typically refers to the process of neutralizing the potentially harmful input, particularly in the context of cybersecurity. It's often used in reference to defanging a URL or email address to make them safe to handle in process like text mining. In the case of the URL, defanging means altering the URL format and prevent it from being interpreted as a clickable link. It's commonly done by replacing the dots with a square bracket and dots or any other format. For example, if you are given this growwithdata.co, when you do the defang, we just replace the dot with the square bracket and dot. So it's going to become like square bracket like this, and .co is going to be like this. For IP address, when you do the defang, the same way we just go and replace the dot with a square bracket. So it's become like this. So the dots are replaced by square brackets. So this is called defanging. Normally, websites like eBay, they don't allow users to share their email address in the list description. So for unethical listings, right, when people want to share their email address, if you want to share those kind of scenarios, then they will do this kind of defanging part. For example, if you go with Jagan at growwithdata.co, right? So when they do the listing, what they do is, instead of at, they will just do at like this, and for dot they will do dot. So when the automated process like a script runs, they look for the at symbol at .co or .com kind of thing, right? So in this scenario, both of them will be skipped. So the screening process won't handle or won't identify this kind of emails. But people who are related to that unethical post, they can go and see the email address. So this is one way they mishandle this defanging part of it. Okay, now how to do this in a programming way? Let's see. Let's start with our normal looping process. We take this IP address and start with the function grow with data. We have the address, and I'm going to have a variable to store the defang value, and I read each element here. For I in address, if every element is going to be screened for a dot, a period. If it's a period or dot, then you just append the result with a square bracket and dot. If not, you simply append the element I. Now if you return the result, it's going to bring me the defang value. Let's see. So it will just read every element and then you check if that element is equal to a period. If it's a period, then it will just append a square bracket and in between there's a period. Right? It's covered, the period is covered with the square bracket. If it's not, then it actually gets the actual value. If you want to see how it's getting printed, result, how it's getting done, you see 24240, everything is good. When it comes to dot, it just replaces with square bracket and dot, and then goes with all the normal numbers. When the dot comes, it just replaces with it. So if you want to go with multiple test cases, then you can use the assert function and you can try it. You can disable this print. So when you say growwithdata.co, all the dots will be replaced by the square bracket dots. Okay, so this is our normal for loop. As I always say, when you have the for and if condition, it's easy to do a list comprehension. So we just go here. We don't want the input. Okay, now we can start with the for loop. So instead of going with the codes, I can just start with a list. So the for loop goes in first. So for every element, we are going to store the dot, the square bracket, if that element is going to be a period. Else, you just do I. Now, I did all this line. This is not going to work because we are going to check why it's not going to work. Let's go with the input value, and when I call the function, let me see how the output is going to show up. So if you see this, when I do a list, it's going to have every element separated, but the dot is replaced by a square bracket dot. But when you see as a whole, it's going to be a list of elements. It's not a string, but we need to get a string. So how will you do that? We just use a join function. The delimiter join the list. Now you get what you need. So now if you go with other test cases, it should pass. So we talked about this join and we talked about this list in our previous videos a lot. So you can just watch that. And you know the delimiter part also. Okay. And as I told you, we don't have to have a variable, do that, and then you join. You can just do it in a single line of code, and then it works fine. So with 4 or 5 lines of for loop and if condition, we can do everything in one line, which is called a list comprehension. Okay, so we did a for loop, we did a list comprehension, but there is a much easier way to address this. There's an inbuilt function which can help us here. So I don't want all this. I can simply say address dot replace, what to be replaced? A period with a square bracket and a period. If we do that, it works fine. So I don't have to do any process. So the interview process, if you go with a replace function, they might say you don't have to use an inbuilt function. You have to go with the normal process. So if you want to go with normal process, very less experienced people can go with the for loop and if condition. But if you have 4 or 5 years of experience, they prefer to see a list comprehension way of representing this. So if you want to see all this code, then you can go with the growwithdata YouTube channel. And the playlist, this is going to be in the Python interview question 51 to 100. You want to see a Tamil version of it? It's Tamil Python interview questions 51 to 100. If you go in here, in the description part, you have the GitHub link. If you click on the GitHub link, it will take you to the code base. And this is 69th video. And you can see the for loop part, and then use the list comprehension in one line, and we use the replace function. If you want to see join the WhatsApp channel, there's a link here for the WhatsApp channel. You can use this and join growwithdata WhatsApp channel. Hope you like this video. Thanks for watching.